Sometimes life seems like a vast labyrinth full of difficulties. We feel tired, overwhelmed, lost, or hurt by disappointments. No matter how successful or powerful someone is, everyone eventually faces moments like this. But remember, you are never alone. Great thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius also went through phases of sadness, loneliness, and anger. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, struggling with fear and the feeling of being alone. In his writings, he said that our thoughts create the world we live in. When we let our minds focus only on what is bad, life becomes heavier and harder to bear. Problems don't magically disappear, but we have the power to prevent them from taking over our minds. Stoicism offers ancient and effective ways to deal with all of this. Today, I want to show you 9 Stoic ideas that can change the way you face anxiety and sadness. They are simple but very powerful attitudes that can bring calm and clarity to your mind. Don't let your mind become your enemy. The time has come to take control and live in a lighter and more balanced way. Let's begin this journey together. 1. A healthy mind reflects a healthy body. The famous phrase by the poet Juvenal, "a sound mind in a sound body," clearly and powerfully shows how the body and mind are connected. We live in this world and feel everything through our bodies. It is through them that we express our emotions, pains, and joys. Stoicism reminds us that caring for both mind and body is essential for facing difficult times, such as those of anxiety and depression. When we dedicate time to keeping both healthy, we gain more strength, clarity, and balance to deal with any challenge. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that it's important to nourish our minds, whether with a good walk, deep breathing, or moments of silence. If we neglect these simple acts of self-care, we end up feeling tired inside, stressed, and lacking energy. Small daily gestures like taking a deep breath or stretching can completely change how you feel. Stop for a moment and think, how much time do you dedicate each day to taking care of yourself? Make a list of what you've been doing to keep your body and mind in balance. See where you can improve, perhaps by exercising, meditating, reading something inspiring, or simply resting a little more. These actions aren't just for the body. They're opportunities to take a break and calm the mind. It's like pressing the rest button inside yourself. Seneca also said that we should take control of the mind. Even if exercising or trying something new is tiring at first, the effort brings mental peace. When we move, the body releases substances that make us feel happier and calmer, such as serotonin and endorphins. They reduce anxiety and sadness and create a sense of well-being that makes us want to continue. It's like a positive cycle. The more you move, the more you want to move. So start now. If you find it difficult to go to the gym or go for a walk, that's okay. It's not an obstacle. There are many free classes on YouTube, such as meditation, yoga, or simple home workouts that can help you take the first step. Don't postpone it or make excuses. Putting it off only distances us from the mental peace we so desperately seek. As Seneca said, abandon all obstacles and use your time to conquer a sound mind, for no one achieves this if they are always busy. Take good care of your body, and it will take care of you. Take good care of your mind, and it will illuminate your path. Embrace this Stoic practice and see how small daily gestures can completely transform your mental health, helping you overcome anxiety and deep sadness. 2. Everything flows, nothing remains. Our 7th lesson is about impermanence, the idea that nothing in life lasts forever. This Stoic view is very important for learning to cope with anxiety and depression. Understanding that bad phases and heavy feelings are temporary gives us courage and hope to continue. Think of a storm. In the middle of it, the wind blows strongly and the rain seems endless. But with time, the sky clears, the clouds disappear, and the sun shines again. In the same way, our moments of pain and sadness also pass, giving way to days of peace and joy. Remember a difficult situation you've been through. How did you feel at that moment? And how do you feel now when you remember it? See how everything changed and you continued on your path. Do a simple exercise. Write down 3 challenging situations you've overcome and think about how you got through each one, even when it seemed impossible. If you know that everything is temporary, Why let bad moments bring you down? Keep this phrase in mind: this too shall pass. Remembering that everything passes is a powerful Stoic tool. When we truly understand that nothing is permanent, we gain new strength to face problems with more calm and confidence. Just as storms always pass, the difficult periods of life also pass, making way for lighter and more peaceful days. And before we move on to the 8th solution, let this phrase resonate: this too shall pass. Let's spread this message and together create a wave of support and hope. Your comment might be exactly the nudge someone needs to remember that, even when things seem difficult, the pain and problems will pass. 3. Renew yourself every morning. What has already happened cannot be undone, but it is possible to prevent it from happening again. This quote from Anne Frank reminds us that even without being able to change the past, we have the power to build a new future. This idea perfectly aligns with what Stoicism teaches. Living in the present and renewing oneself every day is essential to maintaining a strong and balanced mind. Each new dawn is a chance to start over, to learn from mistakes, and to move forward with greater wisdom. Think of a river. It encounters rocks, branches, and barriers, but it never stops flowing. The water always moves forward, renewing itself at every moment. We can be like that river, continuing to flow, leaving the past behind and starting each day with more lightness and courage. Imagine that each morning you wake up with renewed energy, without carrying the weight of past mistakes or sorrows. In a month, that means 30 new opportunities to start over. This attitude brings a feeling of freedom and constant growth. Carrying the burdens of past days only increases stress and anxiety, making it harder to find calm and joy. Often we get stuck in negative emotions like anger, guilt, or sadness, and it seems like nothing changes. But if each morning is a new chance to start over, why insist on carrying what can no longer be changed? What prevents you from embracing the new each day? Before taking everything so seriously, remember, every morning is like a new birth, and what you do today is what truly matters. Starting over each day is like a natural remedy against anxiety and depression. When you allow yourself to renew yourself, you find hope and strength to face any challenge. Never forget, the past is gone, but the present is in your hands. Use each day as a new chance to be proud of who you are and who you are becoming. 4. Discover a new way of looking at life. In his book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, teaches us to look at life in a broader way, just as Plato did, trying to see beyond what is before our eyes. Even being the most powerful man of his time, Marcus Aurelius wrote about how in the face of the immensity of the universe, his enormous empire seemed very small. He shows us that when we stop looking only at what is near and begin to observe the bigger picture, we realize that the history of humanity is made of repetitions and cycles. This same idea appears in the Bible when it says that generations come and go, but the earth remains the same. Upon reading Meditations, in a book written over 2,000 years ago, we realize that even with all the changes in technology and the world, what we feel inside, our emotions, fears, and desires, remains practically the same. Life goes on, no matter what happens, and that brings us comfort. Knowing that human feelings have remained the same for so long helps us to be more humble and to see the world more clearly. When we broaden our perspective on life, we realize that many things we fight for or worry so much about may not be so important after all, and at the same time, simple details, like a smile, a kind gesture, or a moment of peace, gain enormous value. Seeing life with this new perspective teaches us to value our existence more and to better understand our role within this long history of humanity. 5. Learn to accept the unexpected. When we fight against reality and believe that everything is against us, we end up suffering even more. This resistance to what happens is what brings frustration, fear, and deep sadness. Therefore, instead of wishing things were different, it's better to accept what is. If something happens because it's the natural course of life, then so be it. That's what the Stoics taught. Today we say, "Thy will be done." It doesn't matter if we call it God, destiny, or nature. What matters is understanding that there is something greater than us. and that not everything is under our control. For example, why are some people born into wealth while others go hungry? That doesn't depend on us, but on how we react. We can learn, grow, and change our own story, even when we start with little. True acceptance, which the Stoics called acquiescence, means welcoming with an open heart what happens. Zeno of Citium explained this with a simple image. Think of a dog tied to a cart. The dog is us, and the cart is life with its facts that we cannot change. The dog can walk along peacefully or fight against the cart and get hurt. It has no power to stop the cart, but it can choose how to walk with it. If we believe we can stop the cart from moving, we will only tire ourselves and suffer. But when we accept the natural movement of life, we learn to flow with it, coping better with the ups and downs. Seneca said, "Destiny guides those who accept it and drags those who resist." Resisting is like being forcibly pulled by life, and that hurts. Accepting reality and focusing on what we can actually change is the smartest path. When we fight against what is beyond our control, we create sadness and despair. Accepting things as they are frees us from false expectations and unnecessary worries. Accepting reality doesn't mean giving up. It means acting calmly, wisely, and energetically on the things we can transform. When we accept what is beyond our control, we gain the strength to change what is within it. In this way, we find peace and courage to face any situation. Epictetus summed it up very well. Do not wish that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they actually happen, and your life will be serene. Try to see life from this perspective, and you'll realize how it can become lighter and more peaceful. Which Stoic phrase or idea helps you the most to deal with the unexpected? Share in the comments. 6. Stay focused on your own path. Seneca spoke of an idea called euthymia, which means following one's own path with firmness, without being distracted by the past or comparing oneself to others. This kind of peace is only possible when we have discipline and believe in ourselves and the path we choose. It's impossible to live in balance if we don't trust that we are fulfilling our role in this world. Think about when you're driving on a busy road. If you spend all your time looking at the other vehicles and trying to keep up with each one, you might end up veering off the road or even causing an accident. But if you keep your eyes fixed on the road and your destination, you'll get there safely. Life is the same. When we focus on our own path, our minds become calmer and our hearts lighter. Seneca taught that we should value our personal progress without measuring ourselves against the steps of others. Each person has their own time, their own pace, and their own story. We lose focus when we start comparing ourselves. Perhaps someone got rich early, an influencer seems to be living a fairy tale, or a friend is investing while you're still learning how. These comparisons are traps. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 3, "Don't waste the rest of your life thinking about the lives of others unless it serves the common good." He reminded us that when we are too busy observing what others are doing, we neglect the things that truly matter on our own journey. All these distractions only take you away from your own center and the protection of your soul. Following your path with firmness, without needing to compete or feel inferior for not yet having achieved the same as others, brings a true sense of calm and satisfaction. When you adopt this Stoic way of living, you discover within yourself a new strength, capable of overcoming anxiety and sadness. This happens because your focus turns to what truly matters, your own growth and your personal journey. 7. Face adversity. No one feels more lost and dissatisfied than someone who has never faced hardship. Seneca said this happens because these people have never had the chance to discover what they are truly capable of. It's important to remember this when life seems difficult or when things don't go as planned. Every obstacle is a test of strength, patience, and wisdom, and it is in these moments that we truly grow. Start seeing difficult moments as opportunities, a chance to put your qualities and virtues into practice. The Stoics believed that it is precisely in obstacles that we find the space to grow, improve, and show our true strength, even if no one sees it but ourselves. Epictetus said that difficulties reveal a person's character. So when you face a challenge, remember, it's as if God is putting you to train with a younger partner, just as a coach does with their athletes. Why? Because becoming a champion requires effort and sweat. It is through struggles that we learn to resist, persist, and evolve. That's how we mature and become stronger. Of course, it would be easier if everything happened the way we wanted, but life doesn't work that way. If we expect a perfect path without obstacles, we'll collapse at the first problem that appears. The next time something frustrates you, stop and think, how do you want to react? Will you see it as a chance to grow, learn, and become stronger, or will you give in to anger and give up? Character isn't born in comfort and tranquility. Only by going through pain, difficulties, and trials does our soul strengthen, our courage awaken, and success become possible. Facing life's challenges is essential to overcoming anxiety and sadness. Remember, the difficulties you face today are the fire that is shaping your strength tomorrow. Accept adversity as opportunities for transformation and discover the incredible power that lives within you. 8. Become your own best friend. There's an old story about the Stoic philosopher Cleanthes. One day he was walking through the streets of Athens and heard a man cursing and harshly criticizing himself. Cleanthes stopped, looked him in the eye and said, "Remember that you are not speaking to someone bad. Be kinder to yourself." This story illustrates something very important. Often, we are the first to judge and mistreat ourselves. Think about the days when you felt sad or anxious. How much of that came from the harsh things you thought about yourself? Stoicism teaches us that we need to learn to be kind to ourselves, to treat ourselves with affection, and to care for our feelings. When Cleanthes speaks of cleansing, he means that we must cleanse our minds of self-criticism and replace it with understanding and kindness. Anxiety and depression often grow when we become our own enemies, constantly blaming and diminishing ourselves. Instead of finding peace within ourselves, we fall into a cycle of self-sabotage. But the way we talk to ourselves makes all the difference. No one can move forward if they treat themselves as a failure or useless. We need to learn to be friends with ourselves. That's where true inner strength begins. Kindness begins within us, in the way we treat ourselves every day. When we recognize that we are human, with flaws and qualities, we take the first step towards true love. Only by learning to love ourselves can we build sincere bonds and healthy relationships with others. As Seneca taught, being your own best friend is one of the most important things in life. Think honestly. How have you been treating yourself? Do you usually support and encourage yourself, or do you constantly criticize and punish yourself for everything? Why do we let our own minds, which should protect us, become a source of suffering? Instead of growing and flourishing, our well-being is often stifled by negative thoughts. It's time to change that. Treat yourself with the same affection and respect you would have for a dear friend. When we learn to be our own best friends, we change the way we see ourselves, and along with that, we change our entire reality. Start now. Speak kindly to yourself. Be patient with your mistakes, and watch your life begin to flourish, like a garden that receives care and love every day. But before we continue, I want to tell you something important. This content reached you because someone liked the video, subscribed to the channel, and left a comment. Do the same and help spread more clarity and peace of mind to others as well. But there's something important to understand. If you've been trying for a long time to step out of your comfort zone and learn more, but haven't been able to, there might be something you're not aware of. I know what it might be: anxiety. Anxiety is like a snake that creeps up silently and affects you without you even realizing it. It leaves you feeling unwell for days, months, and even years. Living like this is like being sick all the time. But I know a solution. Stoic philosophers, along with modern psychology, have a way to help you get rid of it. I managed to cure myself of this anxiety. I made a video explaining how you can get rid of this problem, and it's in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start healing yourself from this feeling of anxiety. 9. Choose the simple life. Most of our anguish doesn't come from what's lacking, but from excess. Excess of desires, comparisons, expectations, things we accumulate to try and fill voids that aren't material. Sadness grows when life becomes too heavy, burdened with noise, meaningless commitments, unnecessary objects, people who drain our energy, thoughts that repeat like an endless echo. Simplicity isn't poverty, it's freedom. It's choosing what matters and letting go of what suffocates. Stoic philosophers spoke of living according to nature, which means living in harmony with what is truly essential. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that many of our worries stem from things we believe we need, but which in reality we have no reason to carry. Seneca said that our minds become light when we stop chasing after the unnecessary. Simplicity is a return, a reunion with what is sufficient. Think about the days when you felt truly good. They weren't the ones filled with luxury, extravagance, or grand achievements. They were the days when you felt calm, present, silent, with small joys, a sincere conversation, a warm coffee, a spontaneous laugh, a sunset. Simple living doesn't diminish experience, it deepens it. It removes the dust that covers what is precious. But why do we complicate things so much? Because we've been taught that value lies in abundance, that winning means accumulating. That happiness is synonymous with having more objects, more money, more recognition. But the more we search outside ourselves, the further we distance ourselves from within. We live rushing to gain what we won't have the time or peace to enjoy. Choosing a simple life isn't about abandoning ambition, it's about purifying it. It's about ensuring your effort is directed towards something that truly matters. It's about removing distractions from your path so you can become stronger, clearer, more whole. Simplicity makes room for depth. Start with the concrete. Reduce your physical space. Keep only what has meaning, what you use, or what you love. The rest takes up space in your house and in your mind. Limit your relationships to what is genuine. Don't demand that you be everywhere. Cultivate the few connections that nourish your soul. Reduce mental noise. Turn off notifications. Avoid comparisons. Meditate for 5 minutes. The mind needs silence to perceive what it feels. Reduce your speed. It's not necessary to do everything right now. What matters can be done well, not quickly. Pausing is part of wisdom. Seneca said that what makes life beautiful is inner space, not the size of what we possess. When you choose simplicity, something extraordinary begins to happen. Things regain their flavor. Conversations gain depth. Time passes more slowly. The mind becomes lighter. Anxiety diminishes. The soul breathes. Life doesn't need to be grand to be fulfilling. It just needs to be true. And the truth is always simple. Breathe, look around and ask, what here is essential? And what do I keep here only out of habit, fear, or vanity? Let go of one thing at a time, an object, a commitment, a concern, and feel little by little the weight lifting. Choosing a simple life is choosing to live. In truth. 10. Take control of your attention. There is something silent that shapes everything you feel, do, and become. Your attention. Where it rests, your life grows. Where it is lost, you are lost along with it. Most people don't realize this. They believe their thoughts arise from nothing, that their emotions happen uncontrollably, that the mind is a messy room that can never be tidied up. But the truth is simpler and deeper. Your attention is the steering wheel of your consciousness. When you don't hold that steering wheel, any stimulus takes control. We live in a time where everything competes for your mind. Notifications, comparisons, invented urgencies, brilliant distractions that promise quick relief and prolonged emptiness. Every time you give in to them, you're not just wasting time, you're weakening your ability to direct yourself. The more you distract yourself, the harder it becomes to concentrate, feel, reflect, and act. Anxiety grows not because life is chaotic, but because your attention is fragmented. Marcus Aurelius said to carefully monitor the quality of the thoughts we choose to nurture. It wasn't poetry, it was spiritual strategy. Your mind grows in the direction of what you look at. If you look at what is lacking, fear grows. If you look at what you haven't achieved, failure expands within you. If you look at problems that don't even exist yet, insecurity takes shape. Conversely, when you choose to look at the action possible now, one step at a time, calm begins to return. Mastering your attention means choosing what deserves to remain within you. It's not about suppressing thoughts, It's about selecting what deserves space. It's like tending a garden. If you don't pull out weeds, they spread and choke the flowers. If you don't choose what to plant, any seed carried by the wind takes root. Your mind works like that. Those who don't choose what to think about end up thinking what the world wants them to think about. And how do you regain that control? Start with the simple things. When you're doing something, just do that. If you're eating, eat. If you're walking, feel the ground. If you're talking, listen. Bring your body back to the present moment. The body is always here. It's the mind that has wandered off. Use your breath as an anchor. Inhale, hold, exhale. This way you pull your attention back to the now. Attention is trainable. Each time you return to the present, you strengthen a skill that changes everything. Ultimately, mastering your attention is about reclaiming yourself. Your mind is your inner home. If you don't take care of it, no one else will. Close your eyes for a few seconds and tell yourself, I choose where I place my consciousness. Repeat this until you feel it's true. When your attention becomes yours, your life also becomes yours. The more present you are, the less the world can pull you away from who you want to be. 11. Turn feelings into action. There's a precise moment when life begins to change, when you stop merely feeling and start acting. Most people believe they need to wait for motivation, enthusiasm, security, or confidence to appear before acting, but this is an illusion that imprisons. Feelings are waves. They come, grow, break, and go. If you wait to feel the urge, you'll spend a lifetime postponing what could transform your destiny. Stoicism teaches us something much more realistic. The action creates the emotional state, and not the other way around. Seneca said that fire doesn't start big, it grows when you add wood. Similarly, inner strength doesn't appear ready-made, it's built when you move despite insecurity. Action is the breath that ignites the flame. When you're sad, anxious, or exhausted inside, your mind tries to convince you that there's nothing to do but wait for it all to pass. But what you really need is to move, not to run away from what you feel, but to transform what you feel into direction, into form, into achievement. Pain can turn into creation. Anger can turn into discipline. Fear can turn into preparedness. Insecurity can turn into learning. Every emotion carries energy. When you channel that energy, you regain control. When you don't channel it, it becomes weight, paralysis, and torment. That's why so many feel trapped within themselves. They aren't tired of the world. They're tired of inaction. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the most shameful loss is the loss of time. He knew that the greatest suffering does not come from error, but from stagnation. When you act, even in a small way, your inner world reorganizes itself. The mind understands that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the author of your own story. Here's the secret. The first action doesn't need to be big. It just needs to exist. If your mind is heavy, take a 5-minute walk. If sadness is overwhelming you, write 3 lines about how you feel. If fear holds you back, take a short but real step in the direction you fear. If anxiety is burning you up, breathe and move your body. Action is what breaks the spell of emotional immobility. The Stoics didn't deny emotions. They observed them as visitors. They arrive, speak, teach, and then leave. What defines your life is not what you feel, but what you do with what you feel. The difference between someone who rises and someone who succumbs is not the intensity of the pain. It's the direction the pain takes. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to show me? What does it want me to do? Anger may be telling you that you need to defend yourself better. Fear may be a warning that you need to prepare. Sadness can be an indication that something has lost its meaning and needs to be renewed. Everything can be raw material. Everything can be a tool. Life will continue to happen. Feelings will continue to change. You don't control the waves, but you control how you learn to navigate them. And the best way to navigate is moving. Close your eyes now and say to yourself, I choose to act even when I feel it. I move forward even when I tremble. I build even when I have no certainty. Because it is in action that you find yourself. It is through movement that you become free. and it is in the step you take that you become who you truly can be. 12. Reduce what is excessive. Much of modern suffering stems not from lack but from excess. An excess of stimuli, expectations, thoughts, comparisons, and tasks that don't matter. The mind doesn't collapse because it's empty. It collapses because it's too full of noise, full of voices, full of demands that aren't yours. When everything takes up space, nothing has depth. When everything matters, nothing truly matters. The Stoics understood something that we have forgotten today. What weighs us down is not the world, but what we carry within it. Seneca wrote that life is long enough for those who know how to use it, but those who fill their lives with excess don't use it. They merely endure it. Notice the things that drain your energy, the clutter in your environment, the endless list of self-imposed obligations, the notifications that pull you away from yourself, the people who trap you in repetitive emotional cycles. All of this accumulates like dust in your mind. And the more dust, the more mess, fatigue, and anxiety. Calmness is born in space, and there is no space when everything takes up space. Reducing doesn't mean losing. To reduce is back to basics. It's about separating what is yours from what the world has dumped on you. There are 3 Stoic questions that help with this inner cleansing. Is this under my control? If it's not there, let it go. Don't fight the tide. Don't hold on to what you can't change. Carrying the uncontrollable is like carrying sand in your hands. The more force you use, the more it slips away. Does this really matter, or is it just an emotional habit? Many of our pains are automatic repetitions, old fears, old patterns, old stories. Does this bring me closer to the person I want to be? If it doesn't connect, cut it off, silence it, distance yourself, end it. Simplicity is a form of strength. Those who need a lot depend on a lot. Those who need little are free. Reducing what is excessive can begin in the body. Less stimulation before bedtime, less food that hinders, less sedentary behavior that hinders you. Then it can go to the mind, less ruminating about the past. Less obsessive projection about the future, fewer imagined interpretations. And finally, for practical life, fewer people who take and don't nurture, fewer desires that aren't your own, fewer tasks that feed appearances rather than purpose. You don't have to do everything. You don't need to please everyone. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to fit back inside oneself. Reducing is an act of courage because the world has taught you to accumulate. Accumulating objects, achievements, praise, distractions. But there is a deeper path. Accumulate silence, presence, clarity, and focus. When you reduce, the essentials emerge. When you slow down, the heart breathes. When you slow down, your mind rests. And in rest, you find yourself. Close your eyes now and repeat silently, I free myself from what is excessive. I return to the essentials. I become light in order to become strong. 13. Train your eye to notice the detail. An anxious mind is always racing. It's always ahead of the body, thinking about what hasn't happened yet, trying to solve everything at once, imagining scenarios, comparing itself to others, and constantly demanding more from itself. It's like trying to drink water from a falling waterfall. It's impossible. When the mind moves too fast, the present becomes invisible. And when the present disappears, life ceases to be lived and becomes merely endured. That's why the Stoics taught something seemingly simple, but profoundly transformative. Go back to the detail. The detail is the point where consciousness rests. It is the moment when the mind, which was inflated, withdraws. When you pay attention to the sound of your breath, the texture of the ground beneath your feet, the weight of your shoulders, the temperature of the air, you return to the now. And the now is the only place where life truly exists. The past is memory. The future is imagination, but the present is experience, and the detail is the gateway to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "Don't get lost in what is great. Observe what is before you." He knew that whoever tries to carry the whole world becomes incapable of carrying a single day. Anxiety is born from excessive scope, from trying to control everything, predict everything, feel everything at once. When you reduce your focus to what is here, to what is happening now, something changes within you. The mind slows down, the body disarms, the heart finds its rhythm. Training your eye to notice detail means see the little one, the glass of water you drink, the movement of the hands while writing, the sensation of the wind touching the face, the way your feet hit the ground while you walk. This is not romanticizing. It's physiology. When attention is anchored in the present, the nervous system regulates itself. Breathing becomes deeper. Muscle tension decreases. The mind shifts from threat mode to perception mode, and little by little, anxiety loses its power. Not because it has disappeared, but because you have returned to occupying your body. Paying attention to detail also changes how you view your emotional life. Sadness ceases to be a gigantic cloud and becomes a localized feeling. Anger ceases to be a wildfire and becomes a warmth in the chest. Fear ceases to be an abyss and becomes a momentary tightness in the throat. You are no longer swallowed up by emotions. You observe them, and whoever is watching is in control. Simple yet powerful practice. Stop for a moment. Feel your breath without trying to change it. Observe 3 details around you. Something you see, something you hear, something you feel in your body. Go back to what you're doing. That's all. Do this several times throughout the day. At first, it will seem small. In time, you will realize something big. Your life ceases to be a continuous storm and becomes a succession of possible moments, because it is in the details that the mind finds rest. It is in the details that the body finds its rhythm. It is in the details that the soul finds its footing. And where there is solid ground, there is peace. Close your eyes now and gently repeat internally. I return to the present moment. I see what is before me. I find life in the details. 14. Honor your own time. There's a rhythm within you that doesn't belong to the outside world. It doesn't follow society's clock, nor other people's expectations, nor the speed at which someone around you is growing, evolving, or achieving. This rhythm is yours. It's unique. It's how your story unfolds. But often, we forget this. We compare ourselves. We rush. We judge ourselves. And we end up living as if we're always late, always in debt, always running to reach something that never arrives. The result is anxiety, exhaustion, frustration. Seneca said that nothing is so harmful as running without direction. It's no use moving quickly if you're walking in the wrong direction. It's no use conquering if inside you're empty. Life doesn't demand speed. It demands presence, and presence only exists when you learn to honor your own rhythm. Honoring your time means accepting that your journey will not be the same as anyone else's. Each person carries invisible battles, unseen fears, and strengths that are still being born. The world shows results, but not the processes. You look at someone who seems to be ahead and think you're behind, but you don't see the pain they faced, the time they waited, the nights they cried in silence. Comparing yourself is like judging a book by its cover and forgetting that each page has its own breath. Anxiety arises when you try to live on other people's timeline. When you feel you should be more advanced, more prepared, more recognized. But who said there's a right time? Who said there's a universal calendar for life? That's an invention, a fantasy that only serves to create suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary that everything happens when it's meant to happen, neither before nor after. He knew that forcing time is like trying to open a flower with your hands. You destroy what was about to bloom naturally. Honoring your own time is a profound act of maturity. It's looking at your life and saying, I am growing, even though I can't see it clearly yet. I am evolving, even if silently. I'm on the right track, even if the step is small. Small steps repeated with patience build what big steps cannot source, and roots are what sustain the soul when the world shakes. If you run without strengthening yourself from within, any fall will break you. If you grow at your own pace, you become unbreakable. Honoring your time in practice means stop comparing yourself. Accept where you are right now. Do what you can with what you have. Cultivate patience as you move forward, finding meaning in the process, not just in the result. Haste makes waste, and you weren't born to be shallow. Breathe, feel your body, feel life unfolding. Now, You're not late. You are building yourself up. Close your eyes for a moment and say to yourself, I respect my own pace. I trust in my journey. I move forward in time, which is mine. 15. Stop explaining yourself all the time. There is a silent weariness that consumes the inner strength of many people, the constant need to justify themselves. To explain who you are, why you did something, why you chose a different path, why you didn't meet someone's expectations. It's like living with a mirror in your hand, constantly checking if you're being seen in the right way. But that mirror is a prison. Those who are constantly trying to explain themselves never find peace within their own bodies. The Stoics knew that freedom begins when we stop seeking external validation. Epictetus said that you should only worry about what is under your control, your thoughts, attitudes, and choices. The opinions of others, their interpretations, external judgment, none of that belongs to you. When you over-explain yourself, you surrender your inner self to the world as if saying, tell me who I am. And then your life becomes a dance without rhythm, guided by the gaze of those who don't live within you. Seneca wrote that he who tries to please everyone ends up not pleasing himself. And that is the central point. Constantly explaining isn't communication, it's disguised insecurity. It stems from the fear of not being accepted, the apprehension of being misunderstood, the desire to avoid rejection. But ironically, the more you explain yourself, the less strong you feel. You become a hostage to the reactions of others. Stop and consider. How many times have you found yourself justifying something simple, small, personal? Why did you eat something different? Why did you choose to rest? Why didn't you reply to a message immediately? Why did you decide to distance yourself from someone? As if your life needed permission, as if their peace depended on external approval. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that living according to one's own nature means living according to what is true in the heart, and not according to social expectations. The mind that needs to explain itself is a mind that does not yet belong to itself. And make no mistake, not explaining yourself is not arrogance. Not explaining oneself isn't trust. The confidence of someone who knows what they're doing. The confidence of someone who isn't afraid of being misunderstood. The confidence of someone who understands that value isn't proven, it's lived. Here is a difficult and liberating truth. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone needs it. And that's okay. Maturity arrives when you realize that your life is not a public debate, that its purpose does not need to be defended, that your peace doesn't need to be explained. From now on, instead of justifying, affirm. Instead of defending himself, silence. Instead of asking for approval, walk. You don't owe your life to anyone. You don't owe your essence to anyone else's opinion. You owe it to yourself. Respect. And respect begins when you talk less and live more. Close your eyes for a moment and say to yourself gently but firmly, I'm not going to explain myself just to be accepted. I am already enough within my own skin. I honor who I am. In silence. 16. Practice being present in what you are doing. Most modern suffering stems not from a lack of time, but from a lack of presence. We are always in many places at once, except for the only place where life truly happens, the now. We do one thing while thinking about another. We listen without hearing. We work counting down the hours until it's over. We eat without savoring the taste. This way of living creates an inner void, a feeling that life is passing by and we are not part of it. Stoicism shows us that peace is born when you are fully present in each moment, without chasing the future or carrying the past on your shoulders. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself that the soul weakens when it is scattered. He reminded himself that power lies in doing one thing at a time with complete attention. When the body is in one place and the mind is in another, you are divided. When you are divided, you lose strength, clarity, and calm. Anxiety grows because the mind projects itself onto what does not yet exist. Sadness increases because it fixates on what has already passed. Presence is balance. Practicing presence doesn't mean living slowly. It means living awake. It's feeling what's happening inside you. It's noticing your own body breathing, your muscles moving, your thoughts arising. It's being conscious while walking, working, talking. Presence transforms simple actions into care and intention. When you pay attention to what you do, you honor the moment. And when you honor the moment, you find meaning. Observe how you start your day. Perhaps you wake up already thinking about what you need to do later, the week's problems, the pending conversations. This mental leap creates a feeling of constant haste. Life becomes a race that never ends. Instead, slow down internally. Before getting out of bed, breathe and notice the simple act of being alive. When you eat, eat feeling the food. When you talk, listen as if nothing else existed. When you work, concentrate on the task at hand without worrying about what comes next. Seneca said that we waste life when we let it slip away while thinking about something else. Presence is a skill. The mind wanders out of habit, so you need to bring it back patiently. It's not force, it's repetition. When you realize you're distant, return. Tell yourself, I am here. Repeat as many times as necessary. Over time, your mind learns to rest in the present moment. Presence is also respect. Respect for time, for life, for yourself, and for others. When someone speaks and you truly listen, you are offering something rare. When you work with focus, you become stronger. When you live mindfully, the world becomes clearer and you feel whole. Life doesn't happen yesterday. It doesn't happen tomorrow. It's happening now, while you breathe, feel, and move. Being present is the practice that brings you closer to yourself and restores the peace that seemed distant. Breathe slowly. Feel the moment. Tell yourself, I am here. I live in the present. 17. Forgive what weighs you down. There is a type of pain that doesn't come from the body, nor from life's challenges, but from what we silently carry inside. Old hurts, words that wounded, guilt we can't let go of, resentments we hold on to, as if they were part of us. This pain doesn't scream, but it consumes. It occupies space in the mind, weighs on the chest and drains energy from the soul. Forgiving is not forgetting what happened. It's not saying it was fair or that it didn't hurt. Forgiving is freeing ourselves from the inner prison that formed when something hurt us. The Stoics understood that holding on to resentment is a way of hurting yourself twice. Once when the event occurs, and again every time it returns to mind. When we relive a pain, it becomes present again. The past only has power because we continue to give it our attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote that pain only remains when we sustain it with constant thought. When you repeat resentment, you feed an invisible enemy that lives within you. The first truth is this: you can't change what has already happened. The past is concrete, closed, unreachable. What exists now is what you do with it. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about you. It's about reclaiming the inner space that was occupied by pain. It's about breathing without feeling weighed down. It's about walking without dragging emotional chains. Many people say they can't forgive because the other person doesn't deserve it. But forgiveness has never been a gift to the other person. It's a gift you give yourself. Seneca taught that the wise person is not governed by offenses, for they understand that most of them arise from the suffering and ignorance of others. This doesn't mean you have to live with the person who hurt you or pretend nothing happened. It simply means that you choose not to allow that wound to control your life. When we hold grudges, we nurture an emotional bond with what we most want to forget. And when we forgive, we break that bond. Forgiveness isn't an instantaneous act. It's a process. First, you accept that it hurt. Then you acknowledge that you can't change the past. Then you choose to let go. You may need to let go many times before finally feeling lightness. And that's okay. Forgiveness is learning, not rushing. It's the art of releasing without forgetting who you are. The same applies to self-forgiveness. How many times have you punished yourself for something you did or failed to do? How many nights have you relived the same scene, wishing you could go back in time? Guilt is also a prison, and as long as you remain in it, you hinder your own growth. Epictetus said that no one learns without making mistakes. To err is human. To persist in error is stubbornness. But to carry eternal guilt is an injustice against yourself. You deserve the chance to be new. To begin forgiving, breathe. Bring to mind what weighs you down. Observe without judgment. Silently say, I release. Perhaps at first it will seem false, difficult, or distant. Continue. Each repetition is a step. One day you realize that the weight has lessened. That the memory exists but no longer holds you back. That life can go on. And when that happens, a gentle peace fills the space where there was once pain. Forgiving is not weakness, it's courage. It's choosing not to be shaped by pain. It's returning to living lightly. It's reclaiming your own heart. Take a deep breath. You don't have to carry everything forever. Tell yourself, firmly and kindly, I free myself from what weighs me down. I choose peace. 18. Seeing beyond emotions. Nothing increases sadness or anxiety as much as looking at a situation only with your heart, without using reason. Sometimes we send a message and don't receive a response right away. Immediately we think we're not important or that we're being left out. But maybe the person is just busy taking a shower or dealing with something urgent. Or when a waiter takes a long time to serve us and we immediately think he ignored us, that we are not seen or valued. Or imagine having an online store and going an entire day without selling anything. It's easy to think we failed or that we'll never be good enough. However, it could just be a system error or a technical problem with the payment. These examples show that our emotions sometimes distort reality. That's why it's important to stop, breathe, and try to see things as they really are, and not as our feelings want them to appear. Of course, these are just examples, but think for a moment about how many times you've misunderstood something because of your emotions, and how, looking back now, you realize that this made the problem seem much bigger than it really was. The Stoics teach us to observe things clearly, focusing only on the facts and trying to describe them as truthfully as possible, without letting our feelings change how we perceive reality. Of course, this isn't easy, but you can practice. Imagine your emotions as a thermostat. When it gets out of control, it overheats simple situations that could be light-hearted. For example, a message that takes too long to be answered becomes a huge drama in our heads. Something neutral transforms into an emotional fire. This is the Stoic way of thinking. The event itself is neutral, but we are the ones who give it meaning with our judgments. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditation's Stoic philosophy, teaches us to see things as they truly are, without imbuing them with the weight of emotions that distort our perspective. It invites us to look at facts from various angles to understand them better. When we can see a situation objectively, we gain clarity and avoid giving undue importance to small things. The next time a problem arises, try observing it calmly, without letting your emotions get the better of you. It's like adjusting the thermostat to maintain the right temperature. The way we think and understand the world directly influences our inner peace. To overcome anxiety and deep sadness, dedication and practice are necessary, applying Stoic teachings to real-life situations. As Epictetus said, take a step forward and use what you have learned. When you take care of the quality of your thoughts and develop a firm and tranquil mind, you create a solid foundation for living a happier and more balanced life. Remember, true change begins within you. You can't control what happens, but you can choose how to react and how to feel about each situation. May this message touch your heart and help you overcome this illness that traps so many people within their own minds. Take good care of your mental garden and reap the rewards of a calm and fulfilling life. If you've made it this far, write gratitude in the comments and send this message to someone who needs to hear these words. Thank you for watching.